one of our more popular panels, I think, at the affiliate shows that we do. I'm moderating this is Nicholas Stott, who is CEO of the Media Flow, who's jumped in at the last minute very kindly, as Nick Garner can't be with us today. We have Paul Riley, who is an SEO sage, as I christened him last night. We have Kay Schaefer, who's founder of KSOM, and Dave Schneider, who is SEO consultant and SVP of product development at Blueglass. And I'll leave it to Nicola to introduce the session. Thank you.
So it's going to be a very relaxed Q&A format. Is this on? Can you hear me? Everyone hear me at the back? Cool. So it's going to be a very relaxed Q&A format. I'd suggest if any of you have any questions to put your hands up and we'll pass the mic around. But I'm going to kick the panel off by asking, are there really any, what we might consider black hat techniques that still work today in a post-Panda world? I really don't think there are.
So it depends what you identify as black hat, right? So link buying really works still. It just, you can't, I mean, like, the biggest things that have changed in the last 12 months is if you're optimizing your anchor text to death, you're going to kill yourself. And if you're creating keyword spammy content, you're going to kill yourself. I mean, anybody who's seen a drop in traffic in the last 12 months is one of those two things. They're either being filtered from anchor text distribution or they're being filtered by shit-ass content that they're creating in some, right? And that's used to be the way that you spam the engines. You either created tons of shitty-ass content or you created tons of shitty-ass links to your site. But, like, you know, if there's a Google person in the room, they'll say buying links is bad. And so that black hat stuff still works. Like, you still buy links if you're differentiating anchor text and still make things rank. So in those terms, that's the only thing. But you still need to make it part of an integrated marketing campaign. You know what I mean? If you're looking for an easy out, if anybody came in here to figure out, like, how can I get my stuff ranking in the next week, you might as well just leave because, like, nothing works like that anymore. You know what I mean? It's Google's maturing. Everybody's maturing. I mean, if you have a big brand, that helps you out, but, you know, it's not the same old days.
Well, I basically totally agree. The circumstances just changed, and they will change every day. The filters are getting stronger. So basically, yeah, link building, link buying is considered black hat by Google. So when I talk about black hat, basically I'm referring to stuff Google doesn't like and Google punishes, not illegal stuff. Because obviously hijacking other websites still works, but guys, I don't like this stuff.
Interesting. I've got to agree with the link building, the link buying, that works, and definitely the whole filter situation that came in or got tightened up. Yeah, I kind of have that effect. Yeah, so the anchor text situation that got tightened up around about April, May last year, and hit a lot of people. Now, as far as the Panda thing goes, in fact, can everyone just look to the people left and right of them and see who the company is on the name badge? If there's anyone from Google here, or Yahoo, I'm not so bothered about Yahoo, but anyone?
The Google booth was.
Is it? Yeah, and I saw the Google booth was empty. I thought that booth buy was just a setup to empty space just to get in here. Anyone here from Google? Right. Okay. Okay. Now the Panda thing. I never really bought into that. Hands up, who got hit by the Panda update? Anyone got any of the sites hit? Personally, I never really bought into the Panda thing. It was strange how an update was so heavily publicized. It was the most public Google update that I've seen. Now, when we looked at the standard deviation, we looked at the SERP volatility, the movement of rankings in the top 100 for 11,000 odd SERPs, and the average standard deviation was well within the acceptable norm, unlike the previous Mayday caffeine update and the update of the what they call it, Vince, the previous year. And from what I could see from the data, nothing actually moved. Now, what I do think, if at best there was maybe a tightening up of the supplemental index for low-quality content that didn't necessarily have the authority to be there, maybe too much content, maybe a lot of posts on low-authority sites, stuff that could have been scraped. So I never really bought into the whole idea of the Panda thing being an algorithmic update per se. But if you have been fucked for having too much anchor text, then the only thing you got to do is 301 redirect it somewhere else, and you'll shake the penalty anyway. So anyway, next question.
So we've mentioned buying links. Is buying links really a black hat tactic? Is that something that we would consider demonic?
It's a evil necessity, right? Because it's only bad if you get caught or outed. But if you don't get caught, you know what I mean? It's not that bad. But one thing I'll add to the Panda thing is one thing that we did see was the residual effect of no matter what they did, right? They cut off a nice chunk of the link graph all of a sudden, right? So if it was hand done, if it was whatever they were doing, because like that's the other theory, right? Is Google's getting a ton of heat, especially around the demand media stuff in the U.S. and whatever. If they went through and hand did it, still you got 12% of the link graph that's all of a sudden gone. It's going to have a nice effect on people. But I will say in the U.S., publishers got hit hard and heavy with it. I mean, we talked to people that lost 50% of their income overnight. Now, mostly publishers, right? So it could have, I mean, it was really like a cleansing of the index for quality content.
Just on that one, because I do find this fascinating. Now, I was wondering, well, why would this happen? What's the motive? What's driving this? And I thought when I looked at the list of people that had the traffic hit, I thought, wait a minute, a lot of these sites fit the profile of Google's competitors or future competitors for future products, such as the comparison engine stuff, such as the review stuff. And it felt almost as if they were clearing the way for their stuff to be dominant. I mean, Chow got hit.
Everybody's a competitor at this point. I mean, they're stealing everybody's local content. They're just turned into a big aggregator. I mean, eventually they want to be another walled garden like Facebook. I mean, it's going to be two big walled gardens that we're going to content for long term. So.
Yeah, and universal search is taking over more and more. It's like they didn't even need the update to clean their way. So if you look at the SERPs, you're just looking at local results, you're looking at videos, YouTube, whatever. So you're looking at Google. So basically I heard also, I know a couple of guys who were affected by the Panda, whatever, farmers update, how you want to call it. But basically, it's still the same stuff. They had to do something because, well, the index was getting dirtier after the caffeine. So,
Can I add one thing on the paid link thing?
Sure.
So if you want to buy links and not get caught, because I kind of got off the paid links thing for a second, go out and take your natural link portfolio and go and pay for links co-citation wise to those natural link portfolio. Do not do them outside of content. So put them all in quality content, link to your natural link portfolio, and the +1 shit will throw Google completely off. Also, what I would do, because I'm shady, is I would, like in the US, I would start a DBA, which is a doing business as, and run all my shit through there. And that way, if anybody outed it, they'd out a DBA that's not attached to my main company. But, you know, that way you're +1 on the link graph and +1 on your business as well. So.
Does anybody in the audience have any questions in particular? All very shy. Oh, go on then, Jason.
Let's presume for a moment that new to the industry, going to be an affiliate, and I go off and buy a domain name, and a great one. And we'll make it a little bit easier because it's not brand new. It's a domain that's been out there for years and has had some concept up. I've bought it from Seed or something. What do I do to rank?
Buy a load of links.
Social, definitely. Tweet to rank. Pretend to be. Don't just pretend to be, but just be genuine. Be a brand.
Buy clever a lot of links.
Link laundering.
So the question was like a brand new domain that you want to rank as an affiliate. Well, I even say a brand new domain, right? Like, that's fine. So the way that I would approach it, because so Blue Glass, the company Blue Glass, we do a lot of integrated marketing for large companies in the States. And we have done this kind of work before, right, where we take a brand new property and create it. And so what I would do is create a highly niche, specific, content-driven site with high-quality content. Oh man, you can trust me. I can create you a high quality site. I'll take the challenge right now. I'll have it up by tomorrow, man. Nude midget poker. Everybody likes that.
Quantity has a quality all of its own. I want it all. I want it now.
No. You're not listening first. Wait a second. Stop talking. What we're ranking for isn't niche, just the content's niche. Right? Because what's happening is Google's looking more and more at the social signals and the traffic signals that are coming through, right? You've got the analytics on your site, they've got the toolbar data, they have cameras inside your house, and they're all looking at you and what you're doing. And so you have to create some kind of traffic that's not only coming to your site, but sticking, returning, right? So create the high quality content, shareable content that you can distribute via Facebook, via Dig, StumbleUpon, Reddit. Get people coming back to your site. Natural linking. Then within the context of the natural linking, then start to buy links that are also mirroring the anchor text that you have, right? Don't get aggressive and start like, poker on your link buys. Start to see what people are actually linking to you with and buy contextual links around that, and then also the co-citation. And I guarantee you within 3 to 6 months, you'll start to see long tail traffic coming through, and also, if you're this is a great play for the branded play. If you want to go after the affiliates you're working with and their actual brands, the major brands, this is the way to go. And we've done it several times because that shit's easy as hell to pop.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. That you could have, and this is true, you could have a bingo review site ranking page 1 or 2, upper page 2, maybe lower page 1, in a soft market within 2 weeks.
Top 3, page 1, otherwise I'm not interested.
Well, I'm just in 2 weeks you can be page 2, page 1, but there's some markets that are a piece of piss, and that's where I'd start value.
Well,
but I'm thinking bingo, same for casino, same for poker, but I'm not going to say which markets because it'll get kind of crowded.
actually, the idea to creating a niche to start up with quality content is quite good, because you're creating a domain, a trust factor. Later on, shifting to similar topics which would earn you more money, it's a lot easier. So try to think about a future structure when you start. Find something to be social, to get everything. Well, as Google admitted, they're counting the Twitter links, they're counting the Facebook links, not only for ranking, but for getting your trust, to see your bounce rate. They already have in trouble time, like using the Google link when you're clicking on the in the SERPs or just analytics, whatever. So make your main topic social, build it up, and then integrate the money.
I'm going to stick with the questions because you all look a bit shy. We're all affiliates. Everybody's affiliates, yeah? Cool. Okay, so I've got a question for you guys. How long, realistically, do you think we all have with an affiliate business model when Google are essentially taking over the SERP? How long until we type in casino referral bonus and then we see in SERP information returned from Google from everybody's sites, scraped, pulled back and delivered without any visit to site?
Let me turn that round. How long does Google have before it becomes pointless and no one leaves Facebook? So I think they're on a time. They've got time ticking, and they're going to run out of time soon. And I think they know that with the search era per se. I think the social era is going to dwarf the search era, and behaviour is already changing. The shift in behaviour is changing. We still use Google to find things, but I think social, and particularly Facebook, will enable things to find us when we need them.
Well, I think more or less, as everything is evolving, like now, from now on, everyone is using their mobile to enter, to search, to navigate. So basically, everyone knows where you are. Then we're talking about Google Local, which is kind of social. But again, then we're talking about Foursquare, we're talking about Facebook, all the restaurants you're searching for. So actually, there is a changing, not only in SERPs, but in technology. So the access you have by just using your tablet, your iPad, your Zoom, your mobile, your old phone, whatever, is different. So it's a different approach, and you have to adapt to this. And Google has to adapt this. For example, the mobile SERPs are quite different still, because there are very different ways to enter.
So the answer is the smart affiliates won't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Because the smart affiliates will figure out shit to do. So in the U.S. right now, if you type in Bank of America, a lot of ATM machines will come up. Go buy a couple fruit machines, put them in some different places. You'll start popping up in local, right? I mean, like, thinking outside of the box and figure out how to use Google's bullshit against them is the smartest way to go. Right, so like, I mean, so the most disruptive thing that's happened last 12 months was the local update in the U.S. Like, that just tore everybody's head off. Like, payday loan industry totally decimated because everything is filtered towards local now. But the smart payday loan companies are learning how to utilize it, right? And so same thing's going to happen with gaming in Europe. Smart affiliates will figure out how to use the aggregation stuff to their advantage. Now, the other thing I'll add too, and I'm going to talk about this in the next session that we do with the future of SEO, is start to figure out what Google's really looking for. They're looking for high quality, original, and you always hear content, but it's not just content. It's content people are sharing in social. Because where does Google have to compete now? They have to be more like Facebook, right? So like when you search Google now, I see like people's faces next to listings and shit. Like, I give a fuck who searched what and found what and liked it. But be more like that. And so creating a micro network around, so create your shitty ass casino site, but then around the shitty-ass casino site, create the naked midget poker site and the transsexual, like, you know, roulette site or whatever you want to do. Create really good shareable content that's feeding traffic, not just link equity, but traffic back into your main site. You know, just stop trying to beat Google and join Google. If you go with the flow, it's going to be a lot easier than try to swim upstream.
Loopholes. In a minute, Jason. All right, calm down. I've heard that you can rewrite your microformats. So once you get them approved, you can then go back and rewrite or overwrite the data. And you guys tried that? Let's have a go. Want to try. Sorry, anybody know what microformats are? Okay, it's a way of marking up your data. You've got HCard, HReview, that sort of thing. If you mark up your data in a structured way, that data is presented in the SERP. So, you know, if you do a brand search or you search for yourself, and you can see your own name and then your LinkedIn business card, and there are additional depths of data. It will show you who's related to you, that sort of thing. You need to get them approved by Google. So if you submit a microformat, get the data reviewed, approved, and then rewrite it, apparently that works. Well, there you go. So, next question. Tools. If I want to adopt a super aggressive strategy, what kind of tools do I need?
I suppose in managing large-scale link acquisition, straightforward CRM system is useful. So you can communicate and manage large numbers of webmasters, link brokers, all categorized into different niches, territories. Zoho CRM is a pretty hot web-based application CRM system. It's really useful for really scaling link acquisition.
Well, as well, if you need some minor links to bomb up some of their sub websites, you might use some automatic creation links tools like link farm evolution. Just if you need some shitty links to back up. But this could be very useful. But managing your link portfolios and checking them, what kind of links you have, because I would say, does anyone knows what type of links you have? All of them? I don't think so. Well, Jason might be, but he's an exception. And so tools that help you to identify your link portfolio and adapting to it to make it better.
So this is gonna sound pitchy, but like I create products for the company. So, but like me and Greg Bozer have created all our own in-house shit because all the shit that we find. I'm sorry I curse a lot, but it's all bad. So one product that we have is CopyPress. That's like a really high quality content solution. We have WordPress plugins, so you can actually create content, edit it, send it to your sites all across the web. We just created a product called CloudPress that actually is a multi-site control for all of your WordPress and multiple CMS solutions. So you can actually create an entire micro network from one location. And then the other thing that I have is called LinkQuest, which takes a CRM concept, and maybe we can talk. I can give you a free copy. It actually takes a CRM concept, but then also it will take all of your inventory from all of your publishers, pull it in, and then do recrawls with our cloud-based Java crawler, and actually continue to pull your link data in from those sources as well. So that way you can find out like have they been hit with PR stuff, and like all within one platform. And then you can put like your web monkeys in there, and they can just build links all day. And it actually does calls to our CopyPress system. So you put in the order for the link, it goes, we get that copy ourselves, and then send it off to the publisher wherever it's at. So it's a pretty cool system for that. But yeah, if anybody's interested in any of that stuff, just come and see me. I like giving free stuff away. I could probably get you set up. Not too many people, but you know, get you set up with some of this stuff, or like tests of the copy or whatever. Oh, don't touch Link Farm Evolution. Link Farm Evolution is cool. Just don't touch your own site with that shit, because you'll kill it.
And one other thing I'd add, if you do want to get some crowdsourced high volume of people doing stuff really cheap, then there's a really quite useful service out there called microworkers.com. So make a note of that.
Okay, so there's been quite a bit of talk about links, dirty links, shitty links. What should a decent backlink graph look like?
It should look like the backlink profile of a site that has never had a link bought for it within that vertical. In some verticals, it's never the case. Casino, poker, and bingo are just all dirty. You should certainly make sure that you're not the worst offender and that you're cleaner than the rest of the guys, because, you know, to be realistic, there isn't anything clean. The norms, the acceptable norm in iGaming is pretty dirty. And I think that's born out of the fact that culturally Google never really cared about gambling because it wasn't part of their revenue stream until only recently in the UK. I think they've become more bothered about it then, but yeah, it should look like and it should have loads of branded links. All the links should be in content. There should be crazy variation in anchor text. You know, what's the probability of two people independently linking to you with the same anchor text, one after the other? You know, it depends on the word. There are a lot of words out there to use as link text, and it's like millions or billions to one, depending on how long the phrase is.
Basically, I think this first it depends on your website. Are you popular? Are you known? Are you a big brand? Then you can do every shit you want to do. If you're a small affiliate, be careful and watch out for the industry. If we're talking about gambling, it's a dirty industry. So get dirty links, but make it part of it. If you're talking about mainstream industries, they have different backlink profiles. So that's why I first told you to know what is your profile and what is the profile of one of the leaders of your industry, and make it similar.
One really easy metric to follow on this is you should not have anchor text in your profile that exceeds your normal brand terms or URL. Like, if you can take a look at your profile today and poker is your #1 anchor text popping through your site above your brand and URL, especially on a high volume, I mean, you're probably going to look at getting filtered pretty soon. I mean, we've seen almost instantaneous filters get hit once people trip that. I mean, it's dependent on brand, right? If you're a small affiliate, there can be different issues, but the other thing is on blueglass.com, Greg Bozer, who's way smarter than I am, wrote post on SERP profiling, which is what we're all talking about, right? Where you actually go look at the SERPs for the stuff you want to rank for, take the top players, and start to figure out what they're doing that is working, right? And then profile yourself after the vertical, which is exactly what Paul said. Now, the one thing to bring into mind is that Google favors brands extraordinarily heavily. So if you're a small affiliate, you are not going to get away with what 888 gets away with, right? I mean, it's just the way it is. They have so many signals being sent to them, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So, you know, pointing at them being like, they're buying links, so I can buy links and I can do it this way, that's not the way to kind of approach it. The way to approach it is say, what's the normal link graph in my vertical? You know, how do I make sure that my brand is prominently positioned in my link portfolio in terms of anchor text, and then work from there.
Just on that big brand thing, it was interesting. You may have noticed in the poker SERP, where poker stars dropped for the keyword poker for excessive anchor text. So even big brands, you know, they're not exempt from a whack. And there was a lot of big brands that got hit April, May, or 2009, 2010. When was it? Caffeine May Day, 2010. A lot of big brands. It was around about April, May 2010. Looking at the data, it actually occurred over a period of 2 months. A lot of brands didn't all happen on the same day. Some people called it the May Day thing, but there was another thing going on there. It was a filter link-related issue. Two overlaps.
So one thing we've noticed with big brands, especially, right? You're absolutely correct. We work with a large company and a really competitive vertical in the U.S., and they drop for one of their main terms. But one way to find out if you're filtered or penalized, the difference is the big brands, they still want to put in those areas. So especially in the U.S., what we'll find is if we change the geolocation, we'll start to get area-specific pages all of a sudden, right? So with payday loan area, all of a sudden you'll start to see a Los Angeles page pop up for the first page, where it used to be the branded page, because Google still wants to favor that brand, right? Just that one URL has been filtered out because of excessive anchor text. So, you know, it's important to understand the difference between a penalty and a filter. A filter is beatable, right? You get somebody in who's smart to help you clean up your backlink portfolio. If you were ranking before, Google still finds you authoritative. You've just pissed them off a little bit on that page.
Okay, so how do we recover from a penalty? Is there a way?
A 301 redirect to a different page, to stick it to a subdomain, stick it to a subfolder, stick it to a new TLD, just 301 it. You'll be back within a week.
Yeah, but you can even use the canonical if you want to stick with a page for a while until you get it up. That's really nice. From one domain to another, the canonical is working very good. I've just read that even some testing said it's better than 301 in terms of reaction time.
Across domain rel canonical,
Yes.
to get out of a penalty?
Well, why not? Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's a new one for me. Writing that down.
In the U.S., I know, for example, I think Tony Adam from MySpace put out a post on the cross-domain canonical. Like, those big publishers are doing a lot of stuff with it. I would go the 301 route, especially I do it to a competitor, because then you can fuck everybody up, and it'd be awesome. And that's a good, I mean, the best black hat stuff you can do, too, is just to mess with your competitors. There's all kinds of goofy shit you can do there. Like send cease and desist letters to people that are linking to your competitor to get their links down from fake lawyers' offices. That stuff's good. You take that down. That's a good one. But as far as the penalty goes, too, I mean, just clean up your shit. I mean, it's not hard to clean up your act if you want to. And, I mean, the short term is 301, everything, right? The long-term strategy, if it's an actual page that you want to use long-term, or you have some valuable links that are going there, is, you know, just go back through and start cleaning stuff up. Another good labor source is a company I sit on the board for called Hua Marketing. They actually do staffing, but it's based on production work, so you don't pay hourly for it. You pay them based on what they actually produce. So you can pay a company like that, you know, like what they might charge like $200, but you only get paid if they actually complete the work you want them to do. So,
Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
What other things can you do to fuck up your competitors?
Every time.
You can do a lot of stuff, but with this enters something like unethical. But
Black Hat
basically,
panel.
huh?
It's not about ethics.
True.
Right. Come on.
But get a WordPress theme sponsored with their target big keyword and get it out there, and they'll never be able to recover from that. Once a WordPress theme gets out there and gets too much adoption, you can't recall them. And too much excessive anchor text will trip that filter and they'll be fucked.
Use link evolution the way you shouldn't do with your site.
Yeah, I mean, another thing you can do too is, build a site with a very similar URL, spam the shit out of it, destroy it, set up a fake company in the same area as that person, local stuff. Like, send as many signals as you can to Google that you are that company, and then just 301 that shit over. And it should take them down. I mean, you're not going to keep them down. They're going to figure it out, and Google's going to figure it out. But at least you can make them upset for a while. But, like, if you do this, I'm not going to jail or anything. So, tread on your own risk. I mean, people, it's like, it's like everything else. Whatever you want to do to people, they're probably going to end up doing to you as well. So fight fair.
Just on the notion of sending cease and desist letters to the competitors' link guys, that's an interesting one. But one thing you can do is, without going quite that far, but I like that, it's a good move, is when you buy a link for yourself, say, I don't just want to buy a link, I want to buy that link, that one that's currently pointing to these guys. Buy that link and actually get them to change it over. And you'd be surprised how many webmasters would actually let you have that link, therefore removing the link to these guys.
Actually, on another panel, we got the question, why are we doing this? Shitting our competition, especially, when all the SEOs have so many links and access to it. Well, what is the point if I shit him, he shits me? We won't earn any money. So it doesn't help you on the long term.
Well, I suppose it's war. That's what it's all about. It's the art of war. If you've got a competitor who's ahead of you, okay, and you want to move towards him, if you can make him drop at the rate that you can rise, then it makes your relative distance shorten in half the time.
That's true.
No, it's true. Yeah, it is. So if you can kind of screw the guy at a certain rate and you can build yourself at a certain rate, then the relative distance is shortened in half the time.
It's a good tactic for affiliates, for example, right? I mean, it's a bad tactic if you're working at a big brand, publicly traded brand. I mean, you're going to get your company in amazing amounts of trouble if you do that, and you're going to get yourself fired. But if you're an affiliate, I mean, it's marketing. It's marketing, right? Like, let's not take this kind of view where the world is pure and innocent and wonderful. Like, you're building links to rank for stuff, so what's the difference if you're attacking your competitor to get them down? Regardless, you're attacking them, right? It's all about mitigated risk. How comfortable are you with your site going down tomorrow and your livelihood being gone, right? That's how much you can get black hat or white, right? If you're comfortable with one of your sites going down, if it's not your main moneymaker, go aggressive with it. But if it's your main moneymaker, integrated marketing approach with social media, content, all of those things, that's where you should go, right? The long-term play.
Okay, so I'm going to slightly rephrase that just so we all feel a little bit more comfortable. What kind of negative tactics might we find have been used on our own sites?
I think a lot of strategy is building bad links up. So that's why, a reason why you should, for example, watch your own link portfolio. What links are pointing to you, and if you're watching, some nice link evolution links growing up, and we're talking about using this tool is around 30,000, 40,000 in a day new links. So this could hit you hard.
Some clown who you were singing about this morning, I won't mention the name, bought a load of Polish links to point at one of my clients.
Brazilian links for me.
Ah, right, okay. Anyway, so this clown buys all these links pointing at my client, and the site actually, for some reason, there's a server issue at midnight, and there was serving no HTML. So then Google saw all the backlink profile, made the assumption of what the title tag should have been, and then changed the title tag to bingo. And then I got to translate this page link at the bottom that was said, that assumed based on the off-site link profile that this was a Polish page. But it just moved up. It went to #1. So there's no problem there for that keyword in the UK market. So that was a failed attempt. So I like to think that Google have closed some of those holes, and you've got to kind of do it in a way that looks like you're not doing it, and it's not negative. You kind of need to be looking like you're playing the game, but just on the right side of the threshold, so it looks like you're not playing the game, if you see what I mean. It's all about deception.
What's the filthiest thing you've learnt in search, legal or not, but please identify when it's not, over the last year?
That's a really good question.
One of the interesting thing is WordPress updates. Some are very lazy updating their WordPress or whatever software. And as you might know, you're getting these emails and when they say, hey, there's a problem here in the security issue, you can be hijacked. Well, some read these reports very closely and use this to hijack.
I've been playing nicely for too long. I can't answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, despite how I look and how I talk, I'm a generally nice guy, so I don't really like to do anything bad to people. The smartest stuff that I've learned over the last year is messing with the local stuff in the U.S. because like that, the way that Google's going is they're just opening up, again, like a Wild West for SEOs, right? I mean, it's great. Like now all of a sudden you can become really, really competitive really, really fast if you pay attention to where the little one box and the places are showing up, what keywords, and then starting to make a strategy around that. Now's the time to get in. You know what I mean? Don't be hyper aggressive with it. Take it nice and slow. We've actually seen legitimate companies get aggressive with real places and, and get like filtered out and stuff. So, you know, come up with a strategy. I mean, that's my biggest thing for everybody. Just strategize what you're doing. Don't run out there and go crazy and start doing stuff that you learn at any panel anywhere, right? Because you don't know. I could be a complete moron, and I'm telling you what to do, and then you go and do it, and you destroy your livelihood. But as far as the dark side of stuff, man, just stay away from it. I mean, in general, like it's not worth going to jail for. I mean, because there's a line you can skew when you start to go towards the hacking side of stuff. That is just not worth taking the risk.
That's why I actually told you to update your softwares, please.
Any more questions from the crowd?
Ladies and gentlemen, please can I ask you to look out for 2 barcode scanners, numbers 5 and 10, that were taken from the Nutella stand this morning. They're small handheld devices. If you've just accidentally picked one up, please could you drop it back to the organiser's office? Thank you.
That means they must be worth something. Who's got them? No? Okay. Any other questions?
Hello, can you hear me okay? I have a question with regards to content. Is there any difference in, I guess, the value of video compared to text-based content at this point?
Yeah, video is awesome. It's an engagement point on your site. So people are going to come and click it. And the biggest video site online is owned by Google. I don't know if anybody knew that. So they're getting all those signals that people are interacting with your content. Image-based content, infographics, video, all that stuff's amazing. It also increases the time on site, right? And the scannability, the shareability of the content as well. So, you know, don't just get hammered down in the contextual stuff. At the same time, don't just get enamored with how beautiful making cool content that's image-based is as well. Good articles work just as good as anything else. The biggest thing is to make stuff scannable and shareable so people can digest it quickly and then put a link to it from Facebook, Twitter, wherever they want to so they can quickly disseminate it.
And don't forget the transcription so Google can read it.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Video is a very, very shareable type of content. I suppose it's how you use it and in what context, and how it how it applies to your site and your business. But it is YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and I suppose now that broadband penetration is growing into parts of the world where it hadn't been there previously, I imagine their traffic numbers is just going to continue to increase.
People say that about YouTube. I heard it was YouPorn, actually, is the second biggest search engine in the world. Over 1 million search queries an hour. An hour. There was a question in the back. We've got about 5 minutes.
Hello. How can I use drop domains in a smart way to help my main site?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
How can I use drop domains, which I buy somewhere, to help my main site in a smart way?
You're talking about domain snapping or churn and burn?
Yes, kind
domain
of.
snapping.
Yes.
I'm just going to say one thing about drop domains. Exact match domains still work beautifully, and in some of the soft markets I was referring to, where you can be popping up in 2 weeks, you want to be using exact match domains. But I'll refer that question over.
Well, if you're talking about expired domains, basically they're working pretty good still, especially if they're not spammed. You just start. It doesn't start from the scratch on. You already have a link profile, but have a look which type of link profile, and if it matches the industry you want to go into. If not, just use them as a backlink source.
So the issue with the drop domains is that Google's a registrar as well, so they know the history date of everything that's happening. So if you think you're just going to put a site on there, it's going to start ranking tomorrow, it's not going to happen. What I would do is I would purchase the actual content from the old site, put that back up as well, let it get back into the index, populate, and then do what I want to do with the site. On the exact match domain stuff, the one thing to remember with that is it primarily only works for the exact match domain, right? So variations off of that domain, unless you're doing stuff with subdomains, right? So if you had like payday loans and then you were doing like, easy and fast or whatever, primarily you're not going to get a lot of variation on that exact match, but it works insanely well, mostly because you get by that whole anchor text distribution thing, because your brand is your actual anchor text, right? So you can build the shit, like if it's poker today, you can just keep building poker today links all day because that's your brand.
Just on that, yeah, you can get away with a lot more with an exact match domain because of that reason. But there were a couple of brands that I'll example that got fucked by it, and that was Casino.com. They didn't see it coming. They thought they were getting away with it. And Bingo.com in the UK, they got screwed for it as well. But again, it's territory specific. So you can play to that strength, but still be mindful that there is a threshold and you can cross it.
Do we have any final questions from the audience? Okay, I think we better wrap up, but I just want to ask one final point from each of you. Is there really any single takeaway tactic that you would recommend could still be utilised without too much fear?
The best tactic is don't listen to any of the black hat shit that we talked about, and just do really good marketing for your website that's completely rounded and integrated along every channel. That's the best takeaway, right? Don't look for the easy win. Look for making the long-term play.
I think try to be special. Focus on that. If you are special, you have something to give to others. By making you something special, you make yourself unique, and then use the methods they've just described to grow.
I got to agree with that. All that. Yeah, play nicely and don't try this at home, kids.
And with that, I think we're done.
Okay.